All right, I'm Jay, owner of Volunteer Audio in Oliver Springs, Tennessee. I've got Robbie with me, and we're fixing to do something we do all the time. This is about the 5th time this week we've done this system. Why? Because it's absolutely amazing. Everybody that hears it loves it, and when you're riding with somebody else and they hear your system after we do this upgrade, they're going to be here too. Hang out as I show you everything we're going to do and show you the highlights of the install. This video is brought to you by VolunteerAudio.com, your #1 source for all things Harley Davidson audio. From individual radios, speakers, and amps to complete plug-and-play amp and speaker systems, we've got you covered. And once you've ordered your package from Volunteer Audio, it includes lifetime tech support. And we have the very best step-by-step installation video so you can install it yourself and save money. All right, so before we tear the bike down, let me tell you everything we're going to put in and why. First, I get a lot of people ask me, it's a 2022, it's brand new, it's got the GTS radio, why are you changing to the Soundstream radio? Well, we're doing the Soundstream Reserve HDHU.14Si. Because when we use that stock radio, we have to flash it. It's not a huge deal, it's not a huge cost, we have the equipment to do it. But after you flash the radio, you've got about 3 dB of adjustment on bass and treble. When you use the Soundstream radio, we have 12 dB positive and negative of 13 bands of equalization. Meaning we have a ton of adjustment. So even though our systems sound great, and a lot of times people think they don't need any adjustment with the factory radio, with this radio we have a better signal, cleaner input, total output is probably 10% better, but we have all that adjustment to be able to go in and tweak it to that owner's liking. All right, so starting with a great source unit is #1. Now that factory radio, keep in mind, is worth on the used market about what this radio costs, so it's a no-brainer to do that swap out from one to the other. We're going to put a huge Hertz SP 4.900. This amplifier is going to do about 190 watts continuous power to each channel at 4 ohm, which is what we're doing here. But it can run up to 8 speakers, so if later we add lowers or a tour pack, no problem, we just add that extra set of 4 ohm speakers, it sees a 2 ohm load, and starts to put out 290 watts per channel. So we've got plenty of expansion in the future and a tremendous amount of RMS watts. This is about 2,000 watts peak power. Now we're going to use our Volunteer Audio plug-and-play version of that. So it's going to be pre-mounted on our Road Glide plates. This is going to mount in the fairing under the radio behind the headlight. A spot we're not using for anything else, and it's all going to be plug-and-play. Now if you decided to do this yourself and you ordered it from Volunteer Audio, it's not only going to be pre-wired, but all the gains and filters are set for the radio you're using, whether it be stock or the Soundstream radio. We're going to take those small 5¼ inch speakers, because they're terrible, out of the fairing. We're going to upgrade them to the Hertz SX690NEOs. These are going to handle that crazy amount of power we're going to send to them. They're going to be extremely loud, extremely clear. And the word we hear over and over when people hear it at the end, it blows their mind, is that when it's at full volume and they can't believe how loud it is, and they go, it is so clear. That clarity of these speakers are absolutely amazing. To give us that rear fill and a little more mid-bass, we're going to put the SX690NEO Hertz 6x9s in the bag lids. We're using the Hertz cutting kits to do that. They look awesome, and this bike is almost all black, and these cut kits are going to look great with that color scheme. We're also going to use our backbone harness and quick disconnect harness, so everything's easily serviceable. When you get a kit from Volunteer Audio or have us do the install, everything's not only plug and play, it's well thought out, so if you had to take the bag off to service the belt, change a tire, do brakes, one plug and you can remove it. We don't put the fairing, we don't put the amp in the bag, we put it in the fairing to make all that so much easier, so much better. So here are all of our components. We're gonna get the bike took apart, and in a few minutes you're gonna see those highlights, and at the end, hang out so you can hear just how awesome it sounds when we're done. All right, so Robbie's getting the fairing taken apart. I'm fixing to cut in some 6x9s, but right now I need you to click that button and like this video. When you like the videos, it helps us out, it moves things up the search results of YouTube, and definitely if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can see more content about Harley Davidson audio. Now we're going to keep going to work and get back to work, but I always forget to ask you to like till the very end. Not all of you hang out till then. All right, just a few minutes ago I told you just how terrible these factory speakers are, and they really are. They're a super small cone in this large stamped steel basket with a very, very small magnet. They won't handle hardly any power, and they're just efficient enough to work off that stock radio. If we throw anything to them to try to make them louder like a big amp, they're just gonna fry, and the clarity is absolutely terrible. Our Hertz speakers are significantly larger in cone area. If you notice, the speaker itself is much bigger. The tweeter's designed to handle a lot more current. It even has a protection circuit in it, so if we do something stupid and send a lot of bass or a distorted signal to it, it'll cut itself off instead of blowing. It's a remarkable technology. It also has a neodymium rare earth magnet, so it's extremely strong, much larger magnet to handle that extra power and that bigger amp. On top of that, this is a Road Glide. If you look inside a Road Glide pod, you realize there's not a lot of clearance. Most car speakers or strontium magnet speakers, a lot of times people are buying because they're lower cost. Number one, they don't sound as good. Number two, they don't fit these pods. People end up having to cut the backside out or trying to melt them or heat them up to make them fit. Our Hertz speakers are a direct drop in. The way these are designed, the way that neodymium magnet is, they're gonna fit right in without any modification. Very, very easy install, but still using an amazing quality speaker. All right, so I'm gonna have Robbie put these in, get the pods back on. I'm still working on those 6x9s. We'll get to those here in a minute. I'll tell you more about those. All right, so let's talk about our 6x9 cutting kits from Hertz real quick. Number one, I think they're gonna look great on this bike. As you notice, they're all black. They have this nice louvered design over the side with that large Hertz logo. Now, when you get these, they're very, very easy to install because it's very, very well thought out. We taped off our lid with some masking tape just to make sure that our template doesn't scratch our lid. If you notice, this particular template wraps around 3 sides. All we had to do was position it down, line up this front line with the body line on the bag, and screw it down with 3 screws that come with it. This holds it in place. It can't move, we can't screw up now. So now we've pre-drilled a couple holes where we're gonna drop our saw in. I use a Milwaukee hacksaw. It's just a one-handed sawzall with a jigsaw blade. Very, very easy for us to use. But dropping that in those holes, I just follow the outside line on this cut kit. Just cut that outside edge. When I'm done, I'll pull the tape off. This grill will drop right in. And our really heavy speaker mount that goes underneath is all gasketed, well sealed to hold that 6x9. We just took a stock lid and we made it where now it'll hold a 6x9. Some people worry about this process. They think they're gonna mess up. They think it's gonna be hard. Get over it, watch the video. It's very, very easy. I've got step-by-step videos. You don't wanna buy a replacement lid. If you buy an Advan Black or Hogworks lid that's pre-painted for your bike, those lids are gonna position your speaker where they're fired straight up. It's not gonna angle it toward you where you can hear it better. They're also not gasketed, so they leak water like crazy when you buy the replacement lid. We want you to have the best experience. A cutting kit is by far the best way to do this. It looks better, it positions the speaker higher so it takes up less room in your bag, and it also angles it for the best sound possible. And it's gasketed all the way around, so the chance of getting water in your bag is far slimmer. And you can do this with very, very simple tools that you probably already have. So watch those step-by-step videos. I want to encourage you to do this yourself. And if that's outside of your wheelhouse, don't buy the lids that don't work well. Don't buy the ones that position them wrong. Have us cut them for you. Come see us at Volunteer Audio. I'm going to finish cutting this one. I've already got the other one cut. We're going to bolt our cutting kits. We'll be back with you in just a minute. All right, so I want to talk just for a minute about gaskets. We've talked about these cut kits being gasketed where they go on the lids. Also, Hertz is going to include 2 different thicknesses of gaskets. You're going to have a total of 4 inside your cut kit. What this is, some people have been confused by it. One of these you're going to install on your 6x9. So we're going to take our Hertz 6x9, we're going to take the thicker one, and we're going to stick it on the actual speaker, sticking it down around this surround. We're going to take the mating one that's just a little thinner. We're going to take it to our cut kit. We're going to peel the backing off and we're going to stick it on here. Once you have both of those stuck in place, then you're going to screw your 6x9 down. Those 2 gaskets are going to go together and it's going to make a really good seal to keep water from getting in the bag. When the Hertz first started shipping these, it only came with 1 gasket. They saw a need for more gasket material, so all the current cut kits come with screws to mount the speakers as well as twice the gaskets they originally shipped with. All right, so our cut kits are in. We're going to get these speakers mounted up. Now I'm going to show you the wiring that we run to them.
All right, so let's talk about wiring real quick for the back. We've got our 6x9s and our cut-ins in our bags. All we have to do is simply take a 5/8 hole saw, unibit, or in this case, a paddle bit, and we're gonna drill a hole right here at the front of the bag. Between where it mounts and where it latches, 1 5/8 hole here. In this case, it's also a 16mm. By doing that, our easy plug-and-play harness is going to feed right into this hole. I'm going to take this rubber grommet, put it in place, and what you're going to find out is we've put our connector right outside the bag. Some of the other manufacturers put the connector in the bag or well under the seat, which makes no sense at all. We don't want you to have to remove the seat every time you go to take your bag off, or better than that, have to pull the full harness out of the bag and outside to unplug it. It's something that Rockford does that I've never understood, but we've designed it what I think much, much better in how that connection works. It's also a watertight O-ringed gasketed connection. Now under the seat, very simplistic, we have a plug that plugs into our backbone that we just ran from the front back, and a side that's marked brake, and a side that's marked belt. So we're gonna run this wire right in behind this cover and come out where it needs to be for the bag. We're gonna have that single connection there, and all this wiring is gonna be hidden when we're done. So when we do have to do things like service the battery or get under the seat, none of this is in the way. We don't have to worry about the Harley tech possibly unplugging or messing something up while he's working on it. And if he needs to take the bag off, it's as simple as a single connection. Very well thought out, and it's included in all our stage kits from Volunteer Audio that include lid speakers. We also have connectors like this for lowers and tour packs as well. All right, so I've been working in the back. Robbie's been working in the front. He's got our fairing tore down. He's got our pods out. As you watch here, he's going to take our amp on our Road Glide bracket. He's going to show you just how easy it is to put this under the radio behind the headlight. So this little lip here is going to go over this metal frame part. There are 2 bolts now that he's just going to put on each side of the front, and that's going to have it secured in the perfect location. We've already got the amp mounted to the plate right where it needs to be, so to clear the radio and clear the headlight in its best location. So it's going to be very easy. When you get it, there's no guesswork. They're simply taking it like you just saw Robbie and bolting it in your body. All right, so we have the bike all the way back together. First thing we do before we listen to any music is we go to Volunteer Audio's YouTube channel, we look up our Polarity Test track, connect to our Bluetooth, and we play it. And we do this so we can take a Polarity Test tool, and we check that every speaker is in phase. Now, we do this over and over and over. We do about 400 bikes a year, but we still check every bike because sometimes we're thrown for a loop and we're given surprises because Harley's inconsistent in how they wire the factory connectors. So sometimes we find out they're out of phase. Actually, more times than not, we find out they're out of phase. We've done some things at Volunteer Audio to make this less likely, like add our own backbone connector at our pre-wired amps. So we can control that polarity straight out of the amp to the back. So now we see a lot less times we need to reverse the rears. Most of the time, tour packs are out of phase. Sometimes we'll have one front speaker or even both back speakers. But by going to YouTube, by pulling up this track and hitting play, I'm going to bring it up here and get it playing. You'll have those little pops and clicks, and this really, really cheap tool, it's about $17 shipped, will allow you to see if you're correct. We've got 3 reds and a green. We're going to see if we get the same reading everywhere. All right, so we don't care if we get 3 red and a green flash or 3 green and a red flash as long as every speaker matches. Now we've seen, depending on when you start your YouTube track, it can actually reverse the reading you get on this. So just make sure while you're playing it, you continue to play it, you check every speaker. make sure it's at the right volume that you get that change in color. If you get all reds or all greens, you've got it too loud or not loud enough, and ambient sound in the room can affect this. So if you're talking while you're doing it, you're not going to get good readings either. But we just verified that all of our speakers are working together to give us better, fuller sound, more mid-bass response, and overall it's just going to sound more enjoyable. All right, so let's bring up a track. Let's listen to what it's going to sound like real quick. We've got to bring up some copyright-free music because, you know, we're not allowed to play just anything we want, and we want you to be able to hear it. We don't want to have them actually cut the sound down on our track. So let's bring something up here and see what it sounds like. All right, so it's very, very loud. It's very clear. That's what we expect. That's what we test for at the end. Now, like I said earlier, the owner of this bike's brother had us do his bike just a few weeks ago. They went for a ride and he realized, wow, I can no longer hear my bike over my brother's bike. He wanted that clarity. He wanted that volume. It's louder than the wind. It's louder than the engine. It's everything you need in a rider bike. And as you notice, no weird sounds when it's paused or turned down. Everything is crystal clear, no weird pops, hums, clicks that you get from some of the low-end amps because we use top-notch quality amplifiers here. We use Hertz, we use Precision Power, we use products that we know aren't going to give you trouble. And everything comes with a 3-year warranty that's Hertz. So this Stage 4 kit, 3-year warranty on the speakers, 3-year warranty on the amp, and this awesome Soundstream Reserve radio has a 2-year warranty. So everything's going to be made for Harley, it's going to be waterproof, it's going to last. We don't have to worry about that. Thank you so much for watching as we put this bike together. I'm sure the owner is going to be tickled when he picks it up. And we'd love to meet you and get you in the same position. Do your bike, make sure that you're happy, meet you. It would be awesome to do so. Check out all of our kits that we offer at volunteeraudio.com. And you can always give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Talk about your system, whether we're going to do it or you're going to do it. Give us a call at 1-844-30-AUDIO. We'll go over your listening preferences, the genre of music you listen to, the budget you have, what kind of bike you have, and we'll help build that perfect system to meet your tastes and your budget. Please, if you haven't already, like this video. When you like it, it moves us up in search results. It helps Volunteer Audio, and we appreciate you doing that. It takes a lot of time to put these videos together, and we want to make sure people see it and people get to enjoy it. Also, subscribe to our channel. You'll hear about the latest as it comes out for Harley Davidson. The latest audio, how to install it, and how to use it, so you're going to end up with the best end result and long-term the happiest with the system that you've purchased. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, God bless.